What's up, everybody? It's your boy Wes Grant. You're watching Sub Urban Nerd, this channel where I get my nerd views on today's nerd news. And this little session I'm gonna do right now, it's Wes Rants, is pretty much me just giving my opinion or how I view things on a certain topic and just focusing on this one thing. Now, if you guys don't know that, there was a 2016 Ghostbusters that came out. Didn't do too good in movie theaters, but it starred, Leslie Jones, Melissa McCarthy, Kristen Wiig, Kate McKinnon, and these four. And I went in the movie, I didn't think it was going to be good, but it was better than I thought, but it still kind of flopped or whatever, right? So, there's in the news now this whole thing about 2020, or they're going to start production, or by 2020, or it's going to be out by 2020, but they're doing a Ghostbusters 3, a complete continuation after the 1989 Ghostbusters 2 movie, right? And it's going to be directed by no other than Jason Reitman, who his father directed the original Ivan Reitman. So this everyone's looking forward to because, like the Ghostbusters, it's a franchise that everybody wanted to come back. In fact, if you guys don't know, there's a Ghostbusters game that is pretty much the sequel to Ghostbusters 2. It's on PlayStation. I think it might be on Xbox, whatever. Look it up. It's a really good game. It's like Gears of War, but with the Ghostbusters pack, right? Now, everyone's looking forward to this, but Leslie Jones, who is a star in the 2016 Ghostbusters, has an issue with this, right? Now, I was giving them a little bit of slack because they dealt, like the females from that movie dealt with a lot of bullshit. They dealt with so much derogatory, like such racist, sexist comments. Leslie Jones especially, being the bigger, taller, black female of the group, she got bombarded in her Twitter, Instagram, like everything. Social media, they just went after her. They went after her. They went after all the females, but I'm thinking especially Leslie Jones. They went after her before the movie even came out, before they even got to see if it was good or not. And she actually had to get off of Twitter. Most of them had to get off of Twitter. What's it called? The director of it, Paul Feig, he actually just tried to get on and defend them because that's how bad people are going after them, right? So I understand that. But she comes out with this tweet, right? And I'm going to say right now, this is what she wrote. She wrote, "So insulting. Like, fuck us. We didn't count. It's like something Trump would do in Trump's voice. Gonna redo Ghostbusters. Better with Men will be huge. Those women ain't Ghostbusters. So annoying," she says. "Such a dick move. And I don't give a fuck. I'm saying something." So, this is what she writes. And like I said, I was giving her slack until I just thought about it, and then I wasn't even gonna really do a video, but then I just came about it, and I'm like, because I have an aunt who's an actress herself, and all I can say to Leslie Jones, the best way I can think of is in the voice, the Rock's voice. "Know your role." Why? Because you don't matter. And I'm not saying you as far as female, you're just an actress. This is not your franchise. This was never your franchise. You did a job. You got paid to be an actor, and you got your check. There's nothing else they owe you. You didn't say anything about when they were disregarding the whole Ghostbusters franchise to reboot it for your franchise. And if you guys don't know, your franchise did not do well. It flopped. It made, what, $225 million? Or $229 million worldwide on a budget of, what, 144? And you think they deserve to make you another sequel or put a sequel with you in it? Hell no. There's no reason for it. Why? Because you didn't make them money. Now, you can try and say that, this whole, I heard some female trying to defend it as far as like, this had a long strong with the female right movement, whatever. They only did this because of the whole female right movement. I had no problem with them making a movie with all female. You know what? Power to it. But they didn't do it the right way. They tried to write on the back coaster of the Ghostbusters in the first trailer. They said 30 years ago. Then they showed the Ghostbusters. And then they tried to make it seem as if this is a sequel when it's not a sequel. It's a complete reboot. So you tried to play off of the old one and then try and make yourself like you knew. No, if you're gonna do it something brand new, don't say 30 years ago. Just start it off right off the bat. Don't try and play off the nostalgic of the old one to get those fans in and then fool us. Because when you guys tried to do this movie, I went in the movie thinking, you know what? The best way I think it probably would have gone is, you know what? The original Ghostbusters retired. People don't believe in ghosts no more because, you know, it was like 30-something years ago. And then you females, you believe in it, and you come in, and then you start taking up, and then the old Ghostbusters are too old, and you decide to take on the role because they can't do it themselves. That would have been the correct way to make it empowering for the females. But no, you disregarded the whole lore, the whole history, as if it never existed, and this is your own universe. And then you have the nerve to include the people from the original, Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd, Ernie Hudson. You had the gall to include them without them actually being them. Some cameo bullshit. I would have rather them not be in this bullshit. And then you, Paul Feig, I understand, I love some of your movies. Spy, Bridesmaid. In fact, A Simple Favor. That movie was amazing. But this movie, you tried to make female empowerment? No. You did it wrong, because you know why? If you did female empowerment correctly, you wouldn't make every man in the movie seem like a buffoon. You literally made every man in this movie stupid. Chris Hemsworth, you made him like the most idiotic person in the world, and you just had him as eye candy. Was Janine in the original Ghostbusters just eye candy? No, she did a job. She did her job to her best knowledge. And then Rick Moranis' character, Luis or whatever his name was, he was the joke. And he was a guy. So you try and follow the same fact, and sure, I understand, this is a comedy. You're trying to make it like a comedy. You try to do something like sort of what they did with 21 Jump Street. But you did it wrong. You did it and tried to, instead of building the females with men equally and then make them just a little bit better, you lowered men to the point of idiocracy, and then you raised these females and still didn't even have them exactly smart. You had them sort of just winging it. Which is original Ghostbusters, yes, they were winging, but they were nerdy and they had the knowledge. And these females, I just didn't believe they were not, because they were acting too stupid. Like, I'm sorry, Melissa McCarthy, I'm sure she's smart. And in this movie, she's supposed to be smart. But she went on so long about goddamn wontongs. Like it's something serious. And then Kate McKinnon? She was like a cartoon character in this movie. And I understand, like I said, you were trying to go for some comedy, you were trying to go for something different. But except you did it in wrong so many ways. I would have loved it to see you guys empower women and just not even just have all female women. You could have had 2 females and then 2 guys. But I was okay. Do 4 females, but you didn't just, like I said, the story-wise, you didn't do it as far as them just taking over, because the old ones are too old, and you sort of like womaned up and took over because nobody else could do it. You didn't do that. You had these females like they were an originator, like this, like I said, like this is the first Ghostbusters, and then had them doing the thing, and even the FBI were stupid. Chris Hemsworth was the dumbest of them all. And then even the bad guy who's supposed to be the genius, but the one that's doing all these things, he was stupid as far as he killed himself to become a ghost. How do you know you're going to become the most powerful ghost of them all? You don't. But yet he did this stuff. And it pissed me off. I did enjoy the movie. I'm not saying I didn't. But I could understand why this movie did not do well, why it flopped. And then you, Leslie Jones, who you're having a pretty good, successful career. You know, you got the Orange is the New Black, you got this movie, and I'm sure you're going to have a lot more further down the road. But for you to come out and say that you're insulted, like you didn't count, how about the other Ghostbusters? I didn't see you going protecting them, saying, oh, I respect all this, whatever, when it comes to the old one. You're focused on your movie. Yes, you're focused on your movie, and you were thinking of how they were just disregarding, how they were making all the men look stupid, how they were doing all this stuff. You know what I'm saying? And I understand in other movies, sure, they don't make the females most brightest. But this movie didn't bring females empowerment forward. They brought it back because they didn't do it the way they really should have. They made you guys seem smarter. Why? Because they made every other guy the dumbest fuck in the movie. And that's not how you empower women. So, I feel you should shut your mouth, take your check, and be appreciative. The high road would have been like, you know what? You know, I wish luck to you. I wish luck to you, Jason, what's it called? Jason Reitman. I wish luck to you, Jason Reitman, because, you know, you're taking over for your father. And though, you know, I hope that there's still a future for the Ghostbusters with my crew. I wish you good endeavors. You know, take the high road. But no, you didn't. You took the low road. You made yourself seem like a victim. And though I understand, you might have a little salt in your wounds because of the way the internet went after you. But you gotta remember, movies make sequels when the movie makes money. You think they would have made a sequel to Wonder Woman if that movie didn't make $800 or something million? Hell no. You think they would have made a sequel or think about making a sequel to Black Panther if that movie didn't make over $1 billion? Hell no. They do sequels. The industry doesn't care about things. If it's a gay person, if it's a white person, if it's Indian, Asian, look at Crazy Rich Asians. You know why they're making a sequel to that? Because that movie made money, and it was all Asians, all Asian cast. Never really done before. And American been successful. Black Panther, all pretty much black cast. Never done before. It's done before, but like to this degree, that's why they're making a sequel. So for you to try and make it seem like, you know what, you guys, no, there's been plenty of female movies. I mean, sure. Bridesmaid, maybe they should have made a sequel, but except it's the director. The director doesn't really do sequels if you think about it. All he does is he does Paul Feig. He does these one hits and then he goes on to another thing. So you look on him for that, you know. And granted, maybe Bridesmaid could have, but except it did okay. It became a hit, but you know I don't believe it was like made a huge amount of money when it came out in the theater. It later on made money and everyone loved it. But I could be wrong on that. But like I said, I just wish you had just taken the high road with this. Because granted, like I said, the salt in the wounds, I understand people went after you, racist remarks and everything. But they don't owe you shit. They don't owe you nothing but the check you earned. And you could have, and right now you almost burned the bridge, because what if they had a maybe thought of including you? Maybe they would have thought of doing a cinematic universe where they merge the two universes and have some of you females from this Ghostbusters and then new Ghostbusters or something. But you coming out like this erases your chances of being in this franchise moving forward. Because you don't know what they were thinking for the 2000. Sure, it was a direct sequel to the 2003, but I don't think Bill Murray's going to be playing himself and being a Ghostbusters, you know? I don't think they're going to do that. So they might have had you in there if you didn't do this bullshit. So I'm sorry to tell you, this is what I thought. Now this went on a lot longer than I thought it would go on, but I had to. I had to tell because it just makes no sense for these actors to feel so entitled like this franchise is theirs. She didn't put up the money to make this movie. She didn't lose millions, hundreds of millions of dollars in this investment. You made your check. You made your money. And then you move on to your next thing. And like I said, you guys, all you females took a bunch of hate. But at the same time, what actors sometimes don't take hate? Heath Ledger. You think everybody loved him being the Joker before he played that major ass role? He was Brokeback Mountain guy. Nobody wanted him. You know? Like, so many actors take a lot of flack. And granted, you took a lot more than you thought. But you're not the first. And you definitely won't be the last. So shut your mouth, get your check, and I'm sorry. I had to just put it out like this. So that's pretty much my rant. Sorry I had to go out, but thank you guys. If you like these rants, comment down below. Let me know a little bit more, because maybe I'll do this a little bit more, because I tried to do the whole daily news thing, but it's so much work doing these videos now that I started editing, added images. So just thank you guys for watching this, whoever small amount watches this. So remember to put those notifications on. Remember to like this video, subscribe, check out my last WES Rant. Check out my playlist of WES Rants. Remember, I'm WES Grant. You've been watching Sup Urban Nerd, and you've just been nerdified. Catch you guys on the next rant.